Thanks for joining us once again. I am Isabel Masozera and we are coming to you live from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda. Now, the Senate's plenary session has noted that the new law governing the management of public finances will help to better protect government investments in companies, while officials in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning have observed that it will also assist in the matter of contractor arrears because it will allow for their transfer to other fiscal years. Selj Inhore filed the following report.
The law comes to replace the one that was being used since September 2013 and will help to address a number of important issues that include one raised by the International Monetary Fund, reconcile Rwandan laws with those of the EAC, and also assist the government to better manage its investments.
Harimo n'ibigo biri specialize bicunga imari nyinshi y'igihugu kandi bifitiye akamaro igihugu.
It also includes specialized institutions that manage the country's assets, which is very important. The law seeks to ensure that they are properly managed, fulfilling the important principle that the country's budget is one, so that government investments actually yield good results, enabling Rwandans to engage in developmental activities that improve their social welfare.
Bongera gushora imari mu bindi mu bikorwa by'amajyambere, mu bikorwa biteza imbere abanyarwanda, mu bikorwa bifasha abanyarwanda mu mibereho yabo buri munsi.
The law will also seek to ensure that any malpractices in the management of public finances are dealt with accordingly and wrongdoers are punished, while also allowing the government to better manage any arrears it may owe contractors. The concerned minister will be able to allow the transfer of funds not used in one fiscal year to another, after a commitment has been made to pay contractors in that fiscal year, allowing for that flexibility that enables arrears from the previous fiscal year to be paid. In that way, the government will be able to better honor its commitments and contractors will be paid on time, unlike the current practice that leads to delays. The new law also allows for the allocation of an extra maximum 3% of the national budget when the need arises, as was the case when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out. Following the approval of the draft law, the senators concluded their extraordinary session and will now take a break of 1 month.
Moving on, young entrepreneurs in Ruhango district have encouraged their peers to strive to be job creators because the opportunities for them to do so exist. The call was made as Rwanda joined other countries in celebrating International Youth Day. We have the details.
On display as the youth gathered for the ceremony to mark the day was some of the achievements of young people like Esli Muhaimana, who is an artist. I started doing this in 2005 when I was very young because I was always fascinated with art. My talent increased with time and today I make a living from it. I was able to complete only my primary education. Esli is very happy with what he does for a living and usually uses materials others throw away to make beautiful pieces of art and objects, while at the same time being able to afford everything he needs to make it happen. What I do has changed my life, not only allowing me to buy the equipment I need, but also open up my own company and compete for jobs. I have achieved a lot in my life, but there is much more I want to do. He is not the only success story because more and more young people are branching out into activities they normally don't engage in and are succeeding. I was an orphan and living a very difficult life, unable to make ends meet, but not anymore. Thanks to this weaving skill I have developed, all that has changed. You know that not many boys and men engage in weaving, but I tried it out and found that I am really good at it. I used to belong to the first category of the Ubudehe program that is reserved for only the most vulnerable in society, and now I have been moved to the second. I also now have a team of 30 people that work for me and I pay them.
mfite itimu y'abantu nkoresha bagera muri 30 nk'akazi.
Officials in the National Youth Council have commended the government for its role in making such success stories possible, and the Minister of Youth and Culture, who attended the International Youth Day celebrations and toured the exhibition stands of young people, called on the youth not to waste opportunities being availed to them and become job creators. The Imbuto Foundation also joined the young people in celebrating the day and delivered to them a message from the First Lady of Rwanda, who urged them to play a role in all that is being done for them for the sake of the future, which she stressed is in their hands and must be prepared for today. For the next week, young people across the country will be participating in different initiatives meant to better the welfare of local communities. And this year's theme for International Youth Day emphasizes the need for people in all age groups to work together for a better future.
A powerful message there. Health sector workers and those living with HIV have expressed their desire to see the discrimination against people living with the virus come to a permanent end because of its hindrance to Rwanda's fight against the pandemic. Precious Kirezi with more.
A study conducted by the HIV Association Stigma Index revealed the progress Rwanda has made in eradicating the stigma faced by those living with the HIV virus. Health expert Moranyi Theobald says the discrimination reserved for those living with HIV has had a significant negative effect on their living conditions.
Being open about being infected with HIV was difficult back in the day because even the mere suspicion stopped people from greeting you. People felt like interacting with them would somehow get them infected as well, and medication was barely affordable. Monthly medical supplies were in the range of 600 to 800,000 Rwanda francs.
A health center in Remera has a record of over 3,600 patients that get their medication from there on a regular basis. The president of Rwanda Network of People Living with HIV noted that despite the progression, discrimination reserved for people living with HIV is still evident in some areas. When students go to boarding school and their HIV medication is discovered, they're harshly told what they have is AIDS, which is why you find that they don't take their medication with them when they go to school. Another example is bank loans that are denied solely because they have HIV, and these instances have to stop. RBC and health experts have joined forces in an effort to put an end to the stigma reserved for people living with HIV, which is one of the most prominent obstacles they've dealt with so far.
The stigma keeps them from getting to a point of acceptance, which in turn makes them hesitant to get medication or ask for the help they need, which inevitably leaves them prone to other illnesses that wouldn't have otherwise gotten through to strong immune systems.
A study conducted by the Rwanda Network for People Living with HIV concluded that the stigma against them is currently under 13% in the country, which is a significant difference from the 50% discrimination rate in 2009. The global integral goal is for the stigma to be completely eliminated by 2030. Precious Chidezi, RTV News.
For that insightful report. Now, moving on, Prosperity and Solidarity Party has called on its youth and all Rwandans to learn from the past and accept diversity, as well as embracing all Rwandans in order to avoid the dangers of divisionism that threaten the world, including drug abuse and addiction that affects youth in global parts. And we have more in this report.
Before kicking off the annual training for different member categories of the PSP party, these young people first visited the Campaign Against Genocide Museum here in Kigali. Some of the young people say that Rwanda's history has taught them a lot and has equipped them to fight against divisionism.
There is social media. We see those who challenge us, which has taught us a lot, but when you are mentally and physically healthy, you can defend the country.
It will help me so that I don't just get the information out there, but I can also play a role as a Rwandan.
I have learned the history of my country and the progress we have realized.
I want to appreciate women as they are representative in this area. Many of them were unemployed, but they have improved their livelihoods through the PSP programs that encourage them to create their own businesses. During a discussion focused on drug abuse and addiction that threatens the world, SSP Kairanga Clever Regis from Rwanda National Police cautioned the youth to avoid distractions, which are catalysts for problems they face and hinder their progress as seen in different countries.
The more the country develops, the more drug abuse and addiction problems increase. It was previously more common among poor people, but today you find that it's the rich closing up the shops in search of drugs, especially the youth.
The leadership of the PSP party says that young people are one of the pillars of the party and the country. That is why they are taught their history, patriotism, and the dangers of drug abuse and addiction. We want them to learn the laws and the history of our country, where we have reached and where we want to go, so that they understand the struggle to ensure that there's a peaceful Rwanda, a Rwanda that acknowledges us all as Rwandans in every aspect. After the youth trainings, other member categories of the PSP party from different parts of the country will also take part in the trainings.
Youth are indeed the pillar of a nation. Now, the Inyanje Industries has launched cocktail juices made from mangoes and other varieties of fruits. Jen Mutoni filed this report.
Big achievements.
These two kinds of juices were officially put on market by the Inyanje Industries, which consist of fruits available in the country. We wanted to expand that category of our products so that our customers can have more varieties. So we produced more types of juice, one made from guavas and a cocktail juice. We have been launching different products at a time, as recently during the Choga meeting, we had launched the new bottle of Inyanje water, and so now we are focusing on juices. Apart from juice, the Inyanje Industries has been in the Rwandan market for 20 years, and it also produces dairy products and has a plan to increase the number of products it puts on the market. As Inyanje Industries, we aim to satisfy our customers because we value them. From today, they will be available on market and all shops where people can easily get them. The price will be almost the same as the rest of our juices, which is not more than 2,000 Rwandan francs per packet. The Inyanje factory plays a huge role in adding value to agricultural and livestock products, as well as bringing in foreign currency into the country through exports. Jane Mutoni, RTV News.
All right, now we have more. The College of Science and Technology at the University of Rwanda has started a project to initiate biotechnology studies for students pursuing a master's degree, which hospital directors have commended because this promises to keep them from outsourcing. Precious Kirezi once more.
To obtain 834,000 for functioning costs.
This is a 2-year study program focused on integrating the provision of health services through electronic technology, manufacturing medications and vaccines, as well as environmental and agricultural aspects of technology. Hospital directors have expressed how uncommon the program is in Rwanda and emphasized that its existence will fill the gap of medical specialists in private and public practices.
The gap is very wide. It's uncommon to find doctors that work for public and private hospitals, and this is because we don't have enough medical specialists. But this biotech postgraduate program has the potential to fill the gap.
University of Rwanda's principal of the College of Science and Technology, Ignace Gatare, says the fact that Rwanda gets to participate in the manufacture of medication and vaccines puts students in position to significantly contribute to healthcare progression.
The biggest achievement is the advancement of skills that will be attained from the program. The master's program has classes that teach the basics and those that focus on biotechnology specialization.
This program has been scheduled to begin in the next academic year, where it will start with the enrollment of 30 people in an internship program in and outside of Rwanda, after which they'll receive international certification. Precious Tidezi, RTV News.
And that's my time with you. Thank you so much for choosing RTV and choosing RTV News. I'll talk to you soon.